This is an airline a lot of reviewers consider underrated because there really isn't a middle ground. Parts of them are sky-high excellent, others are downright nasty. This is Philippine Airlines, Asia's oldest operating commercial airline. And because God is fair, He giveth with one hand and taketh with the other. We are flying into Manila today, into one of the worst international airports of any capital city, Paliparang Pandaitik ng Ninoy Aquino. So it's only fitting we begin our journey at the world's best airport.
Outside ground temperature is recorded at 28 degrees Celsius or 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
G'day guys, and welcome back to my video. I'm coming to you from Singapore Changi International Airport, right here in Terminal 1, because I'm on my return journey back to Australia, and the airline of choice is Philippine Airlines in business class from Singapore to Melbourne via Manila. So come along with me to see what this experience on the Filipino flag carrier is all about. Let's do this.
Everybody just do your thing.
If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. Born and bred in Singapore, I now call Australia home. And I create heaps of flight reviews, the occasional train journey, and destination vlogs. This travel series will see me touch down in Perth, and from there I fly to Malaysia, where I get on a couple of domestic flights. I then fly to Singapore, but not in the way we normally do. I fly back to Australia the long way, via an overnight stop in the Philippines, where I then get on the final long-haul red-eye to the land down under. These videos will be linked in the description in chronological order as and when they're published. Make sure you hit subscribe and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever an episode goes to air. Even better, become a member of my channel for early access to these videos. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Traffic between Singapore and Manila is very busy. It is serviced by 4 airlines, namely Cebu Pacific, Philippine Airlines, Scoot, and Singapore Airlines. Flights carried out by Singapore Airlines and Scoot utilize wide bodies like Dreamliners and Airbus A350s, 5 and twice a day respectively. The Filipino carriers uses the smaller Airbus A320s and A321s. Philippine Airlines offers 4 daily flights, and I'm on the last flight of the day, PR 512, which departs at 8 p.m.
Check-in all done. This is a very interesting flight. So I'm flying to Manila with an overnight stopover. So the airline actually gave me a choice for this sector, from this flight from Singapore back to Melbourne via Manila. So they gave me a choice to have a 3-hour transit or an overnight 20-hour transit. Of course, I chose the overnight transit because, the last time I went to Manila was, I was still a child, so this might as well be my first time in Manila after all that time. So yeah, I'm pretty looking forward to what this overnight transit is all about. So anyway, I've got a boarding passes now in my hand for 2 sectors and the lounge invitation for the SATS Premier Lounge right here at Changi Airport. So it's time for some lounge time then. By the way, Singapore has just introduced a passportless journey through passport control. So you no longer need your passport. So your facial features have already been captured. So you just basically stand there and let them take a photo of your face, and then you'll be let through. I really do miss the days when you can collect passport stamps, but I guess slowly but surely those days are gone.
Singapore Airport Terminal Services, or SATS, used to be a subsidiary of Singapore Airlines. In September 2009, SATS was divested from Singapore Airlines, and it is today one of the largest providers of ground services at airports around the world, which span air cargo handling, baggage and ramp services, in-flight catering, aviation security, and of course, passenger services like check-in facilities and lounges. SATS lounges are found at all 4 terminals at Changi. This evening, I was in Terminal 1. Naturally, when I'm in this part of the world, my attention immediately gravitates towards the food section, because Singapore never disappoints. Does this look like it's going to burn? Of course it does. And this is really the only reason why I love lounges at Changi Airport. To hell with other food options. It doesn't matter whether I'm at the SATS lounge or the Qantas lounge further down the corridor. The Singapore Laksa is a must-have. I am going to have my fill because I don't know when is the next time I'll be back here again. Philippine Airlines was founded in 1941, and in March that year, started flying between Manila and Baguio City. Its name has never been changed till today, making them the oldest operating commercial airline in Asia. The well-being of the airline has pretty much been tied to the history of the country. It has been nationalized, privatized, expanded, shrunken, gone bankrupt, survived, and it is today a publicly traded company still hanging on. This evening, flight PR 512 is operated by an Airbus A321 with the Rego Romeo Papa Charlie 9901, which first flew in July 2013, making her just over 12 years old at the time of writing. For many decades, the Philippines was ruled by President Ferdinand Marcos, who was powerful and wielded influence throughout the country. One of his many cronies ran Philippine Airlines and was responsible for bankrolling the First Lady Imelda Marcos's shopping trips overseas using the national airlines fleet. It wasn't uncommon for these aircraft to be seized for the First Family's personal use. One of the more famous incidents was on a shopping trip to Rome. The Philippine Airlines aircraft had taken off for the return flight back to Manila, with the First Lady Imelda on board. She realized the catering had no cheese and ordered the pilot to return to Rome so her minders could get some. That and her 3,000 pairs of shoes she left behind at Malacanang Palace, this is surely a colorful piece of history. The welcome on board was sunny. That's the best way to describe it. It was radiant, warm, and there was no escaping that in-your-face welcome. And this energetic buzz was kept consistently high throughout all my interactions with every single crew member tonight. This is the regional configuration for the Airbus A321, which consists of 12 very plush recliners with a very wide seat width of 20 inches. Back in economy, there are 187 seats, giving us a total capacity of 199 seats. Placed on the seat were the very large pillow, a blanket sealed in plastic, and the menu for dinner. The pitch comes in at 37 inches, and there is no footrest. Pocket contents contain only the safety card and a vomit bag. Philippine Airlines no longer provides the Mabuhay in-flight magazine. It has died together with COVID. There is a USB-A port here, and the seat control, which only has a recline button. Additional charging ports are located on the middle seat console. We have an adjustable headrest, enhancing this very plush seat with an OK recline. Pity about the lack of footrests, otherwise this would have been an almost perfect regional product. The Filipino hospitality was now in full swing, with the personal welcome by the cabin crew who would be looking after me for tonight's flight to Manila. She introduced herself and addressed me by name without looking at the pack's manifest. Service had a formal vibe as she asked, "Would you be joining us for dinner tonight?" As I scanned through the three options, my immediate question was which is the Filipino one? Fried prawns with salted egg cream served with noodles, the chicken morilo demi-glaze with mushroom and potato, or the beef machado with rice. She smiled and said it's the third one. So let's go with that. Welcome drinks followed quickly with a choice of orange and apple juices, or, interestingly, a banana smoothie. This is a full-service airline in Southeast Asia. Of course, there is a hot towel service before pushback. One of the best things to happen is the announcement boarding is now complete. Ground crew, please leave the aircraft as we are ready to depart. And the seat next to you is empty. Score! And this is why I absolutely love flying at the pointy end in this part of the world. Even before you take off, the elaborate show of welcome, drinks, hot towels, you're just showered with it. That's why when I get home to Australia, my bum is always itching to go flying again. But definitely not with any Aussie airlines on international flights. On takeoff from Changi Airport, the flight path for flight PR 512 would be entirely over water across the South China Sea. We would coast in south of Subic Bay over Bataan National Park, skirting around Manila Bay before landing at Paliparang Pandaigdig ng Ninoy Aquino from the east. Completing this flight in 3 hours 40 minutes, covering a distance of just under 2,400 kilometers. Dinner service started leisurely. It wouldn't be a proper business class service in Asia unless you had these crisp starched linen. My order of Coke no sugar was accompanied by a cute little bowl of salted cashews. By the way, these nuts were served warm. As I'm editing this video in the midst of a wintry chill in South Australia, I could definitely do with some warm nuts right about now. The main meal tray was next, which included the appetizer and dessert. On the menu, it said smoked duck with pomegranate and quinoa salad. While it looked vibrant, it was a little too healthy for my liking. Suppose it does not hurt to clean up my diet once in a while. With some delicious slices of garlic bread, I was all ready to tuck into this nutritious starter. There was really no second guessing what sort of ingredients went into this dish. What you saw is what you tasted. Meh, it was alright. One thing I love about flying airlines with a distinctive cultural undertone is their cuisine. On Philippine Airlines, of course I would have gone for the Filipino option. Beef machado has been inspired by the Mexican dish called menudo. It was adopted by the Filipinos when they were colonized by Spain in the 16th century. Traditionally a tomato stew, the Filipino adaptation sees soy sauce and calamansi added, giving it a rather umami-heavy profile with a zingy aftertaste. With a stew this hearty, serving it with rice is the best accompaniment. Although the menu did say there would be adobo flakes, I didn't see any. Still, this was definitely a delicious dinner. For dessert, it was a banana cake with chocolate mousse and chocolate cream. Classic pairing, but it was extremely rich. I'd say this was an overall excellent meal service. and after-meal tea was brought out to me with chocolates on the side. But after that cake, I really could not have another piece of chocolate anything, so that was sadly left untouched. With dinner service officially complete, the cabin lights were soon darkened. Since we still had a couple of hours left to our flight time, little surprise some of us dozed off. There is Wi-Fi connection to the airline's IFE options via a device of your choice. But really, not just on Philippine Airlines. I haven't properly utilized any airline's entertainment for a while now, preferring to maximize my rest whenever I can, especially on night flights like this one, with nothing to see outside. Just as we approached our top of descent, the lights came back on. As you can see from the walk back through the aisle, economy class was fully occupied. As we start our approach into Manila, this is also the perfect time to summarize our journey from Singapore Changi Airport. At Changi Airport, Philippine Airlines utilizes SATS as their ground handling agent. It's a very dependable agent, and their long list of airline clients is a testament. As the largest ground handling agent at Changi, their lounges are also above average. Doesn't matter which terminal you're at, lounge visits are always very agreeable, especially with their top-notch catering. This isn't my first rodeo on the narrow-body Airbus A321 with Philippine Airlines. For whatever reason on this flight tonight, we had about 10 different passengers from economy class coming through the curtains, which was velcroed shut, to use the toilets in front. The cabin crew was having none of that, and firmly told these passengers to return to use the toilets behind. Every single time this happened, these passengers would be escorted with tail between their legs by a cabin crew behind them, ushering them back. I gotta hand it to these flight attendants. They were patient but firm, and yet they never lost their smile. Every single interaction was met with enthusiasm. I had a total of 3 members of the crew serve me at different parts of the flight, and they all addressed me by name. So as far as service goes, it's a solid 10. Oh, that beef machado. I wish I had more than 2 thumbs to give it more than 2 thumbs up. Philippine Airlines has all the potential in the world to become a top-tiered airline. Their branding consistency is excellent, and they're one of the most recognizable and prestigious organizations in the country. And their in-flight service is almost faultless, because Filipino hospitality is as natural as the oxygen we breathe. So why are they still faltering in the rankings? An overall airline product also largely includes the ground experience at their home airport. And tonight, we say hello to Paliparang Bandaitik ng Ninoy Aquino, the main international gateway of not just the capital city, but the entire country. And this airport suffers from well-documented chaos, poor infrastructure, and terminals well past their use-by dates. Tonight, we will be docking at Terminal 1, the granddaddy of all terminals right here at Ninoy Aquino. Perhaps it was the time of our arrival, which was close to midnight. The chaotic reputation of the old terminal didn't really materialize. As I said goodbye to the amazing crew of PR 512, I approached this arrival experience with my eyes wide open, and my senses were primed to face any potential problems I've heard so much about. I was anticipating a confrontation of a crowded madness with stressed-out travelers crammed into a stuffy arrival hall. But I sailed through immigration in 2 seconds, and even customs was uneventful. Perhaps the so-called chaos was the arrival's public area, where I waited for the Grab car to arrive. But even that was dealt with swiftly, and I was soon on the road, heading towards my hotel, located at the opposite end of the airport compound. Maybe I got lucky, because I was at the hotel all within 45 minutes of saying goodbye to the flight attendants on my flight. I'm eager to get some rest. So let's join live Ryan at his hotel room to wrap this video up. So that was my flight with Philippine Airlines from Singapore to Manila International Airport. So I'm settled at my hotel at Newport. I'll be here overnight, and then tomorrow I'll get on the longer sector from Manila to Melbourne. So do you agree with my commentary about Philippine Airlines? I'm pretty eager to hear from you, so leave a comment and let me know what do you think about this Filipino flag carrier. So in the meantime, I've chucked details of my Instagram on your screen right now, so hit me up there, chuck me a follow so you can come along with me on my travels in real time. Hit subscribe and the bell notification icon, and I will see you for the next video. Bye!